recap in probably like a month maybe. Yeah, I mean, little update. I got a new little setup. I used to do this on my MacBook. Um, if I keep looking at my left over here, that's OBS, so I can look at myself. Anyways, I used to do this on my MacBook. Now I got a whole PC monitor set up, new camera, mic, all that. So everything set up. Finally back on the wagon. So anyways, no one cares about that. Going into the trade today, took a small little one. No news Monday. Here, I'll even bring it up. Um, no news Monday. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, so I'm gonna stay out. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday could look good. Wasn't caring to take anything super huge today, but if an opportunity came up, I'm willing to take it and take something small, which is what happened today. Usually I'm on NQ. I ended up taking the trade on ES today, so we'll kind of just stay around ES. So looking at market open, right? This last week, well, it's 4 hour time frame. We'll zoom out a little bit. This whole last week was very bearish, very bearish, rebalancing a lot of price, and we kind of hit our bottom down here. So seeing us rebound off of Friday morning and just start making that leg up, was curious to see where we started out the day, and started out the week. Really started out the week with this new week opening gap here, and ever since then we were just straight bullish on the 4 hour, not a single down candle. Same with NQ. Going down to the 1 hour, same story. Obviously super bullish, barely any bearish pressure, leaving a lot of LR to the downside. New week opening gap wasn't really filled. I don't really call this a fill on new week opening gap. You see this a lot. As soon as new week opening gap comes up, you can definitely see something tap in there. This is still an open draw for me, essentially. Yes, we left London low, Asia low, and we have liquidity to the upside, but we're uh, we're kind of just dancing around in this 1 hour gap right here. So that's what I was kind of looking at for the day. Anyways, steady trend to the upside. So now we're looking coming into market open. I'm hoping for some sort of like higher time frame retrace, like clearing out this London low, clearing out the Asia low, maybe new week opening gap. Because these are strong draws for me. If me coming into this Monday, I'm totally fine just letting it run. If we want to just go super bullish at market open and just keep running up the price, that's fine with me. I'll just sit there and watch it. I don't really mind. Um, so coming in to market open, see all the liquidity to the downside. Like, okay, cool. That would be great to revisit that, but we'll see what happens. So at the beginning, market open. Again, I'm always looking usually just on Nasdaq, but ES looked better as far as an entry for me, and I'll get to why later. But anyways, market open. First 15-minute candle ended up forming a gap. This is that 15-minute gap right here. We'll zoom in a little bit. First 15-minute presented, key level for me. Also on the way up, make a 5-minute gap. And so on that initial opening range breakout, we see price come up, and also you can start to see the AMD model here. You can start to see let me draw it out, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So unknowingly, I wasn't thinking about it in the moment, but we had a solid AMD model today, which is always good. Oh, you always like to see a good AMD model. But yeah, opening range breakout, still remain bullish. So I'm kind of just looking to see what happens with this 15-minute gap. And as you can kind of tell, okay, yeah, bring me back to replay. On the 15-minute, zoom in a little bit. we we inverse these kind of at different times. ES was a little ahead on these 15-minute inversions. I really could have taken an entry on NQ, but in the moment, I was more looking at ES, and that's where I saw a clean setup, so that's where I took it. Um, anyways, pretty much leaving behind this 15-minute, the 5-minute gap. I'm looking for these to be levels after our, for where we go next, because we had the opening range breakout. You see this so often, something I'm getting used to in market patterns is this opening range breakout. You use that to practice not having FOMO. And then, especially on a no news Monday, you're going to get a heavy consolidation here. You want to, and this is the hard part, right? You look at this, and even I'm looking at it now, I'm like, how did you avoid this? Listening to gains in the live is very helpful, but because I'm waiting for this 15-minute, I don't care too much about this 5-minute gap. And, as far as coming back into it and looking at it for longs, I'm not super content on that. I want to see this 15-minute gap really get not manipulated, but really get brought back to. So this range, I stay out. I start seeing really good pressure down here, obviously. And I'll go to the 5-minute, what this looks like. Oh, damn it. Okay, here we go. 5-minute candle. You can really see this well on the 5-minute, right? We're wicking all over the place. There's no gaps. There's nothing really here. Then you start to see some sort of bearish pressure here. You're like, finally, we close right on this 5-minute gap. It's hard to tell if you inverse it on that candle, but where we opened on this candle right here, you can say that we didn't inverse it on this candle. So this gap waiting still to get inversed. This 5-minute candle inverses that 5-minute and gets us close. We have to, 745 is obviously the 15-minute candle closure. We can go look at that on the 15-minute. 740, not 745, 730. But on the 730, actually that makes sense then. So 730 candle on the 15-minute is when we close and inverse this 15-minute gap. And at around the same time we inverse this 5-minute gap. So I'm on the day, I'm looking more for shorts just because I see this 15-minute gap come up and I'm wanting us to inverse it. I'm wanting us to get some sort of confirmation that we're going to go lower because I really like the London low, the Asia low, and this new week opening gap as a draw. So seeing this 5-minute get inversed, seeing the 5-minute get inversed, seeing the 15-minute get inversed, like, okay, cool. That is confirming me very bearish for now. I would like to see us draw lower now. Things to pay attention to when looking lower. Where would my take profits be? Right. Of course, I mentioned London low, Asia low, New York week, new week opening gap. So I'm trying to say. But also notice we have this 1 hour unmitigated fair value gap right here. I'll bring it out. 1 hour. 1 hour unmitigated fair value gap. That could be a place where price potentially hits the center of and bounces back up. Maybe we don't need London low. Maybe we don't need Asia low. Maybe we don't need new week opening gap because we've been that bullish over the past day or so coming into the week. So maybe we just need that 1 hour fair value gap to fill and then go higher. So looking at my entry here, seeing this is pretty much inverse fair value gap model essentially. And I'm looking at my paper right here so I can have my stuff drawn out. Steps being liquidity sweep at the key level. We don't really get a liquidity sweep, but we get that AMD model. We get a clear manipulation. Then looking for a V-shape recovery. V-shape, maybe. This is kind of V-shape. We get good bearish pressure. That could be like my V-shape. inverse fair value gap on the 15-minute first presented. I really like that. That gives me clear bearish pressure. So now after, again, this is the 15-minute. After we inverse that 15-minute, like I said, and I've been mumbling about, I'm clear for shorts from there. I'm ready to go. I'm just trying to find an entry after, pretty much after this candle, right? After this candle closes, or I'll just go right here. After this candle closes, I'm game for shorts. Now I'm just looking for an entry. Going down to the 1 minute, this is where you find my solid entry, right? So we inverse the 50-minute, and so 5-minute, 15-minute, inverse the 50-minute. We on the 1 minute we see a little slight retrace, retesting that 15-minute gap, and so for there, I like the retest. I'm waiting for another inversion to the downside to be my entry point, because the more confident I get, the more I'll be able to enter off this. Like when price retraces back up into it, the more I'll be able to enter around here. Realistically, what I was wanting to see, because I'm looking for a gap, right? I see the retest of the 15-minute first presented fair value gap of the session. I'm wanting to see a gap in here on this retest. On this retest, obviously you can see it's tight, but there's no gap there. So I don't get my ideal entry around here. I have to wait to inverse another gap. And so what do? I have to look left. Looking left, you can see, here, I'll change this, a 1 minute fair value gap formed right at market open. This top of this candle here, I'll bring it up. Bottom of that candle wick and the top of this candle wick. That's my gap. So I'm looking to my left. That's the closest gap that we can inverse. So that's going to be my entry point. And I'm sitting right here. Price, this candle opens at the top of this gap, and then we run all the way through it. This is where it gets tricky for me, because this is the most bearish pressure we've had in a while. I mean, look at these candles compared to the rest. It's just, these guys they're in. So you can start seeing that flush. My thought now is, like, when I look to enter in the future, I wonder if I should be looking to, as soon as I see bearish pressure coming in, and really go below this inversion. Should I get in there, or should I wait for the candle closure like I did this time? We were around this level with 20 seconds left, and I was just waiting. I'm like, come on, please go up a little more, so I know I'm not getting in like down here. So close a decent area, and of course I had my tool up. My tool up. Some of you will get that. I had my tool up, ready, and just marking out marking out my risk to reward, make sure I'm still getting in at a spot that makes sense. With my stops being a 5.5 stop at the top of the inverse gap of this 1 minute. First TP being this 1 hour gap, this 1 hour unmitigated, because looking at it, like I said before, this could be an area where, because we're so bullish, maybe this is all we need to go long after. Maybe we don't need London low, we end up sweeping London low. But anyways, I get my entry. I'm at more than a 1R, so I'm cool with my entry. Personally, we flushed this so fast. I mean, this is 1-2 minutes I'm in this trade. That's all I needed. Not all I needed, but that's all I was in for, 2 minutes. So 2 minutes make $300. Cool. Awesome. Great for me. No news Monday. Fine. I was personally looking to hold this to London low and just hoping we'd run this 1 hour gap because of the pressure. But when I was in the Discord in this trade, I was hearing Gaines call out levels, and he was basically saying, if you're in this trade right now, look to scale out or fully get out of this trade, or basically saying that he would be out of the trade, because we'd hit CE of this 1 hour gap. And the orders he was seeing definitely we can go higher from this. And he was saying his situation, he would be fully out at this point. So being only on one mini contract, I can't scale out. So I just fully took my position out, 6.75 points, I'm pretty sure is what it came to, around $330. Could have held the London low. Obviously, it hit, but on a no news Monday, I don't need that, especially because I can't scale out. Normal position, if I'm running micros, I scale out and we let this run. But sorry, I'm kind of sick. These bright lights are kind of messing with me. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't say A plus trade. We made it work, and I'm very confident. Would I take this trade again? Yes. I like the setup because we do see a nice little AMD model. Like I said, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We caught that distribution leg, even though it was technically like the retracement of a longer time frame, higher time frame. Because look at the 1 hour, right? Everything in the book says here. Let's leave this. Everything in the book says to not take this this retracement leg. Everything in the book says wait for this leg to come in and then take the distribution to the upside, continuing the trend. I'm able to catch something small here. I'm gonna keep that in mind for what I learned today in my notebook. Is that I was confident in this retrace, so I only took it off at the 1 hour gap because who knows how low it's actually gonna go. So keep that in mind going forward. You kind of broke that rule in the case of you shouldn't take this retrace on the higher time frame. You should instead wait for this retrace to happen, stay stoic, and then just wait for the distribution to the upside. Wait for this manipulation to get done to rebalance price, and then you can eat. You can eat on this distribution. So that'd be the only thing I say going forward. In the moment, very confident my draw is lower, so I don't mind taking that short, but just for future reference. Anyways, quick run through again of setup. AMD model to the downside, so that's cool. First 15-minute presented fair value gap of the session. A 5-minute, we inverse both of these around the same time. I heavily use that first 15-minute presented as confidence for me. If we come down, tap it, go higher, then I would have entered long off that as like a continuation. But so honestly, that was the biggest reason why I went short here, right? Is this 15-minute presented, 15-minute first presented, right? We look at this, we are in such a bullish market structure coming into the day that this 15-minute for me is like if we, here, I'll get my highlighter out. If we come up, tap back into it, and then start to see confirmation higher, I'm in that continuation model, boom, we're eating. But since we inverse that 15-minute gap, I am game for shorts. So that's why I really was looking for shorts today, mainly. But yes, just again, quick overview. AMD, manipulation to the upside. We inverse that 15-minute, that 5-minute. I look for an entry on the 1 minute. Hold on. After retesting that 15-minute gap right here, then I find an inverse on the 1 minute for an entry, a nice little 1 to 2 R in the trade of like 2 minutes. Quick little Monday eats, little Monday breakfast. Yeah, that'll about do it. That was, by the way, I don't think I ever said this is Monday, November 10th, and I'll just keep doing this for the rest of the week so I can keep this, I don't know, noted for me. Anyways, see ya.